It's all fun and games until the internet goes out.
Yeah. Technology. Best friend until it's not.
Okay, Bill, we have a box on our screen. Not sure how to get that off.
Because as soon as I pick one of those, it would be wrong.
Respond to that?
It's in there. But as soon as I pick,
Keyboard
I
up
don't
there.
know if it's the right one.
Use the mouse and click on that.
You see, yeah, see the, don't know.
Steve, you're a brave soul.
So,
Wait a minute, Bill's doing something here.
No.
There you go.
Yeah. We've got the-
that's me doing that.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thought that was Bill.
So I'm not
Sorry.
sure which one to select.
Upper right.
Join audio.
Yeah, just look at that.
Yeah, they can.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, all right. Now, wait a minute, it sounds like, okay,
You're good. We're good.
let me confirm with Bill.
Well, there's Bill.
Oh, there's, okay, well,
I
Steve,
think we got
Steve fixed it.
most technical guy in the group.
I know, right?
Okay, we are live again, so we will continue
You're
with,
now officially a technology expert.
You got a new title, Steve, new title. Okay, we have no old business. In new business, we will continue with Magistrate Sleeper and your presentation.
All right, thank you. Bringing forth to the court this morning a resolution regarding homelessness and food insecurity. And first, before I read the resolution, I'd like to give you some information on the context of how it came about and the genesis of it and such, and the benefits of it. It's a county-city joint homeless and food insecurity resolution, and this started when some folks, some organizations and individuals came forward and wanting to donate to homelessness causes, and
I wonder if we should go out and try it again.
I think we do need to unmute ourselves.
unmute us.
Unmute.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Hang on.
And maybe start the video as well.
Unmute.
Good point.
Yeah.
Start
And
video.
start video. Can you all hear us? Okay. Magistrate Bodner, Magistrate Cullen. You all hear?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
has the potential to increase the private funding and grant possibilities due to its appeal to donors who, like to see that kind of collaboration. It greatly enhances that. It's set for 1 year, and then we'll see how it goes after a year. And I will add too, if may possibly lead to the point where we want to do this with all of our social program funding requests. So,
So any allocation we would make, there'd be a hub of the wheel, and then there'd be reallocation from that entity.
So the course of action right now for the court is to decide if you all want to go in this direction. The city, Magistrate Slaper has just explained where certain social entities would now go through United Way for their funding instead of coming directly to us as an appropriation. And then we would fund some amount of that to United Way.
we fund it, yeah, correct.
No, I would just, I think it's a great Magistrate Sleeper was indicating with the outcome measurements and other processes that are involved in it. So it just makes a lot of sense to me that we do have kind of the one-stop shop now instead of having to
estimated funding, so it will be audited and CPA work to cover those costs. You all are agreeing that you will put 2 people, you will send 2 people to be on the panel that reviews this, as well as anything. It's basically gone in and it's gone through the allocation process, just like we currently do with our other partners. I've never broken it down by district. We break it down by both industry and by county, and so we on our board is fully vetted through all of those.
Certainly in the future, we need a consciousness of that, because there's so many communities that some of us have that are kind of remote, but well populated, because the distribution of the population is relatively even for all magistrates.
So we'll have 2 representatives.
You'll have 2 representatives.
I understand
You're
that.
talking about
I'm
the
talking
United
about
Way board.
at-large members of your board.
Oh, at large.
Of your board.
Of my board. So that's determined by the board itself. They make recommendations on board members, but again, we're serving 4 counties and we're a board of 12. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's not possible
It's not
to have
just
somebody
okay.
from every
I understand
district
now,
on
yeah,
there.
I thought it was a large board. Thank you.
It's a governing board.
Yeah.
Magistrate Cullen, did you have?
Yeah, what's this dollar amount that we're funding, or how is that figured before we just jump in
We've not
and commit
determined,
something? Do we know the dollar amount of committee?
we have not determined the dollar amount. I was operating under the presumption that the budget committee and then the total court would decide on that dollar amount. We're not committing to any specific dollar amount here at this point.
Well, we're coming partners, so with other partnerships we've gone into with the city before, they put in an amount, then they expect us to put in the same amount, so we need to understand that.
They have not made a dollar
Okay.
designation
City
yet
hasn't.
because their budget has not been approved yet and won't be until, I think they said June. So
Well,
this
just as we're
allocation,
looking for equity, just as we'd be looking for equity on the billings with the airport, we'd certainly want to either apportion or look for 50-50 equity, one or the other, based on population. And I think the population of the city is slightly larger than the county.
and Steve, I think if I'm not misspeaking, I think the Boyle County Health Department is going to match if this is an equal.
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
3-way, or they would match the joint.
They
No,
will
the-
match whatever, if it's equal, they will put in their equal as well.
It would be a 3-way.
It would be a
Yeah.
3-way.
Magistrate Cullen, do you have any other comments?
Well, I'd like to see possibly something in there that we kind of know we jump in if this is exactly what we're funding and how much.
Well, it's fortunate that we're months away from the budget's approval.
Yeah, I don't think we'll know exactly. Go ahead.
So maybe we do a little more fact finding before we go ahead and add something. I don't know if there's a million on Chris on this one.
I don't think we're gonna know the amount until we get into our budget sessions.
Yeah, I'd recommend we go with the resolution today, and money to be worked out in the budget process.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to make a motion?
Okay, so for the first one, we need a motion that the fiscal court is on board with this, that you all approve us, transitioning and doing our funding.
Yeah, so
for
do
that
I
as
need
well.
to read the resolution, or are you all familiar with it?
We're familiar.
Right.
Okay, so you want to include the resolution and the approval all in one motion?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, so,
That's it.
So I'll make a motion that the court approve the motion to partner with
United Way.
United Way City and Health Department, and pass this resolution.
I'll second that.
Attorney here, do we need to read any of the resolution at all, or just?
I mean, I don't think we need to read the whole thing. I mean,
Okay.
I think he kind of summarized it.
And we
Okay.
had it
Basically.
prior to the meeting.
Okay, so I have a motion by Magistrate Sleeper, second by Magistrate Gay. Okay. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Nay? Mr. Cullen? You good, or was that a yes or a no?
No, I'm good. I give a thumbs up.
Okay, all right. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take chair prerogative at this time. We've got to get one person in here because they have to go to work, and then we'll go back to our regular agenda. So now we need EMS Director Mike Rogers. That's your sleeper. If you can. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Come in. Welcome, welcome.
No.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Magistrates. Excited to come before you today to recognize a citizen for being brave and being a leader. Something that we too often don't see a lot. You don't have to be around me very long to know how passionate I am about hands-only CPR and CPR. But we had an example of a situation where a citizen was able to successfully administer CPR and the patient have a positive outcome, was able to be resuscitated and left the hospital, 100% neurologically intact. So we would like to recognize Casey. Come on up, Casey.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I talked to Casey just a few minutes before the fiscal court. She was able to learn CPR at Boyle County High School.
Awesome.
And so you want to tell me a little bit about that, a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name's Casey. With me for sure.
So this person was unresponsive?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm responsive, yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Well, all too often in Boyle County, we always talk about having a system. And the system starts with our 911 dispatchers. And Rebecca Hafley's here from dispatch. Thank her for being here. That's where it starts. Our dispatchers are the tip of the spear. But on the other side of that phone is the most important part, and it's our citizens. And we have to be able to get them to do what Casey did so that we can have better outcomes. And I can't thank Casey enough for her leadership. I even tried to recruit her, talk to her about going about EMT school.
There you go.
We might have a place where she could work. So, I want everybody thank Casey for a life saved. So we're going to present her today with a challenge coin and a certificate from the county that the judge will present. So,
Okay, want me to go first? Okay. Well, Casey, in our eyes, you are a hero to the county, and we just thank you so much for your quick response, and the skills that you learned came in very handy for you on this particular day. And so we want to give you a certificate of recognition. It's a life-saving award, and it's in grateful recognition of a life saved due to your quick actions and bravery. And it takes a lot of bravery to jump in a situation like that and administer CPR and actually get somebody breathing again. So you're a hero.
Sorry, I'm just so I can do this.
Great job.
Okay, I got 3 pictures, so we'll pick the best.
we'll do one more.
Yeah,
we
and
have
then she's got one more.
we have a challenge
Oh, I
coin
want-
from EMS, and it basically reads, in recognition of excellent patient care resulting in a life saved. So.
Okay.
Gifts to over 260 families in
Right
our
here in the county.
county, in our five county area. Yes, sir. In our 5-county area. Yes, sir. And so the majority of those families came from Boyle and Mercer and Leighann. Primarily Boyle. There was only 32 families from Casey, and so the majority is from the hub that works or lives in Danville. And so that's what most people know us for. But actually, our mission extends all year round, which I think is not a surprise to anyone here in this room. However, sometimes I feel like the Salvation Army is forgotten about because we're not really the best about coming and trying to make appointments to present ourselves because we get busy in the handshakes and meeting the people. And so we have within our mission is very broad, but it's also very poignant in wanting to do two things. Meet human need. That human need changes wherever you're at. In certain parts of the world, human need has been determined as having a school for the blind in Jamaica. In other parts of the world, it's hospitals in Africa and India. And in Houston and Atlanta, there's senior high-rises that the Salvation operates. So the human need is determined based off the community. So in Danville and in Boyle County and in the extension of our other 4 counties that we serve, we operate rental assistance, food assistance, assistance with utilities, with electric bills, with water, with gas, with heat, clothing assistance, furniture assistance, food vouchers. Sometimes we're able, by the graciousness of donors and Kroger partnering with us, we're able to give, rather than just a box of food, we're able to give out gift cards so that families can pick what's best for their family and what better fills in what they already have in their home pantry. We also operate not just supportive services, but emergency assistance programs. And so in 2023, we provided 145 food boxes, then 273 Christmas meals with our Christmas supportive services and emergency assistance. And we were able to distribute about $10,000 in assistance to our 5-county area. So those are the 1-point services that we offer. Our next 2 slides that you can see are both LifeNav and Pathway of Hope. Pathway of Hope is already an established program, and it will be in the next fiscal year funded by the Heart of Kentucky United Way, as well as some of our donors that have graciously given to it. Pathway of Hope, I'm going to skip down and go back up 1 slide. But Pathway of Hope, it says on the slide, rebuilding hope for families and working to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty. This is a program where instead of just offering food once, we recognize that families have returned to us. They're getting rental assistance, but then they're asking for rental assistance again. It was not just an emergency case that they needed assistance. They need ongoing case management. And so we contact these families and we try to get them involved in this Pathway of Hope program where we work with them. We create SMART goals with the family. We work with them to create different steps and patterns in their life through pastoral counseling as well as any sort of educational assistance that we can give, such as budgeting classes or healthy eating, different things that will enable them to break the cycle of poverty as well as intergenerational poverty that very many families in our community are still ongoing. And so with our Pathway of Hope program, the goal is that these families would be self-sustainable, that they would not be coming and asking for food regularly and then asking for rent every single year, knowing that they can come every 12 months to the Salvation Army and they can go every so-and-so months with LIHEAP and every so-and-so months with BGCAP. And so the idea is working with these families intensively to get them to where they're self-sustainable. Now I'll go back 1 slide up. Our LifeNav program is actually very, very new to the Danville Salvation Army. And I say very, very new because we're still working on getting it approved to begin it here. But in being true to our mission and faithful to our mission, we believe that it is important to evaluate the human need and to meet it and to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so our LifeNav is similar to Pathway of Hope, but it is different in 2 ways. It primarily targets those that are experiencing homelessness, and it is for those who are individuals. And so right now we're working on getting approval and working to adjust our budget so that we can have a LifeNav coordinator, a worker that would be dedicated to going and finding those experiencing homelessness, working on those SMART goals, helping them get their ID, helping them work on their resume, then helping them get a physical evaluation, helping them work so that they're able to then be a DOT driver and have their own place and be able to be self-sustainable. Working on those crucial steps that often are blocked by lack of support and lack of a know-how. The Salvation Army also, in our mission of meeting human needs without discrimination, we also are very, very pleased and feel called to serve those who are experiencing disaster. And so my wife and I have both had the pleasure of traveling abroad. We've not had a natural disaster here that we've been able to respond to. However, we both had the pleasure in the past of traveling abroad and being able to serve those who
Go ahead.
are experiencing disaster from tornadoes or hurricanes. So 2 years ago when the tornadoes came through Kentucky, my wife and I were the commanding corps officers in Owensboro, Kentucky. And we were able to go and serve those and that were that had their entire neighborhood blown away by the tornado. And it's probably one of our most crucial times to serve those and to be able to offer not just physical support, but also the spiritual support and counseling. So with the Salvation Army being a two-pronged mission, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ and meeting human needs in His name without discrimination, we do have ministerial services and ministry programs. And so my wife and I, being the commanding corps officers, it's not just the administrators or the social service managers. We actually are also ordained clergy through the Salvation Army's church, which is a branch of the Methodist Church. It branched off the Methodist Church, as I told you, back in the 1800s. And so the ministry programs that we offer to our individuals, this is not a prerequisite or a requirement, but we believe that as well as serving the physical need, the spiritual needs must be met. The same services that we provide to those individuals are also available to those who are in chronic need and can then be pastorally mentored and a part of a Christian community that supports them and uplifts them. And so we have weekly church services, Bible studies, we have youth educational and outreach programming where we bring kids in, we give them a devotional, we give them food, we're starting to teach them an arts class, and that way they're able to have something that they can creatively express themselves with, as well as engage them, and we're beginning to look for members in our community that can specifically mentor and walk alongside some of these youth so that we can get them into the best place and so that we can show them maybe a little more than what their parents are able to show them.
So people that might be interested in mentoring can contact you?
Yes,
Okay.
we would love to have that, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we have our teen and youth programs that happen year-round here at our facilities that you saw in the picture up above, but we also have our summer day camp program that we will be fundraising for very, very shortly. It's our goal is to have the children that fall below the poverty line that are signing up for summer day camp to not have to expense anything from their families, and so we'll be fundraising for that. But one of the best things that we also are able to serve is if you go down to the Camp Paradise Valley slide, that is a camp that's in Burkesville, Kentucky, that all of the Salvation Armies in Kentucky and Tennessee give a little bit of money towards so that we can send kids there. And we send kids, I'll be going actually this weekend with some college kids from our area for music lessons and for an arts retreat Friday through Sunday. But during the summer, we're able to send kids for an entire week where all of their meals are taken care of. They're accompanied by, in a Christian community, they're able to go swim and jump off a double-decker pontoon boat and jump into Lake Dale Hollow and just have the time of their life being kids, not worried about what's going on back at home. And we do it with a zero cost to the families that we send. We don't ask them for anything. Matter of fact, we're often going and trying to make sure the families still have food that week and that the kids maybe have a clean pair of shoes that they can wear that are closed-toed so that they're able to go safely. I grew up, actually, my parents are Salvation Army officers, and one of the ways that the Salvation Army ministered to myself, and I should have said this earlier, my wife and I both are products of the Salvation Army, which is why we serve. So my wife's family comes from a very broken family, and she was right up the street from the Salvation Army. She saw kids playing, and she rode her bike down the road so that she could go and play with the kids. Little did she know she was already getting electrical assistance that her parents were in Angel Tree. My family back in the mid-1900s were served by the Salvation Army in West Virginia. And we had some drunkards in my family, and we had kids that had no supervision, and the Salvation Army took us in. And because of that, I'm now a fifth-generation Salvationist of individuals that are serving communities all throughout the southeastern United States and some abroad, in Africa and Italy, because of what the Salvation Army did for our family. And so, but what the Salvation Army did for me was allowed me to go to a 4-week-long music conservatory during the summer at no cost to my parents. And I was able to create something within myself and give myself a discipline and give myself something that I can long for and search after and apply myself in, which allowed me to really understand how to work hard and to build things in yourself. And so all of this often I feel like when I'm watching individuals, although this is probably the best presentation I've given as far as receptivity. So some of the presentations lately, I'm very nervous that maybe I will have to start doing CPR on some of them. So, and then others look puzzled, like they have no idea what words I said. So whether or not you understand, I'm very grateful for your eyes today. So they look good. But how can you guys help us? And how can the community help us? And it's very simple. And so it's by volunteering. So we have youth outreach and educational programming that we need volunteers for, both in mentoring, but we also need volunteers in the presence. We have a summer day camp program that we might need volunteers for, helping us make sure that we're managing the kids appropriately and safely. It would be terrible for them to have an adverse life experience at home and at a summer day camp. And so we have we have a very scrutinized program in order to make sure that kids are under a safe experience while they're at our programming. Financial donations, that's simple, everyone knew that, I didn't have to say that. Support a fundraiser event. Material donations, and let me say material donations and volunteering. At our family store, we're able to serve individuals every single day. And those individuals don't come in just to shop. They come in knowing that they're supporting the community, those who are able to just come in and shop. Others give because they know that we're able to resource that. So many of those items we're able to give away or to sell at a good price to those who need the integrity and the good feeling of being able to still buy for their families. And all of the profits go back into my operating budget. It doesn't inflate anyone's salary at all. It just allows me to continue to serve individuals better. I also would ask you, and because we are a religious organization, I would ask you to pray for us. I'd ask you to pray that the Salvation Army is being faithful to our mission, that we are actually meeting human need without discrimination. I'm not worried about the discrimination part. My staff is amazing. But making sure that we are accurately targeting the correct need and that we're being faithful to preach Jesus and to make sure that individuals know that there's a God that loves them. There's a lot of us in this room that would not be where we were if we did not have the understanding and knowledge of the fact that there was a Savior that loved us dearly. And that transformed our life and could give us courage to move forward into the things that we needed tremendous courage in. And so I thank you. One more thing. One more how can you help? Just because my wife and I are still new, we just got here in June. Resources or connections. If there's something, I've had the privilege of rubbing shoulders with and elbows with a few of you. However, many of you are still new to me. If there's anything that you feel like the Salvation Army should be a part of based off what you heard today, please contact us. Please make sure. I'm very often just making sure that people are fed and clothed and having the people who I find in my dumpster come down into our office and sit down with me for a couple hours so I can pray with them and work with them. And so that means that I'm often not in some of the community conversations that we should be a part of because of how we serve. And so if you have anything that you feel like we should be a part of, please call us. We will be present. We believe in this community and it's our pleasure to be here. And so with that, I will just, you have a lovely picture at the very end of me and my bride, of my beautiful second half that the Lord's blessed me with. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the time. I am a talker, and so had you had both my wife and I here, it probably would have been a little longer too.
You did that pretty well.
But I'm very grateful for what you guys do for the community, as well as how you've supported the Salvation Army in the past and how you'll continue to support. And so thank you. Could I offer a quick word of prayer over you all before I leave?
Sure.
So, dear Heavenly Father, I thank you, Lord, for today. I thank you for the opportunity that you've given each of us to do better for ourselves and to do better for our community, Lord. Father, I pray a blessing over this fiscal court. I pray a blessing over the individuals, not just their work, Lord, but also their own spiritual, emotional, and mental health, and their family members' spiritual, emotional, and mental health. Lord, I pray that you would just bring light home, not stress and darkness and work that often is accompanied with these roles, Lord. I pray that you would allow them to feel light, almost like the spring breeze that comes through and moves flowers along in the trees, Lord. So I pray that over them, Lord, and I pray that your blessing would be upon them as they are making very critical decisions, Lord, and that they would continue to take their positions seriously, Lord, and that they would continue to be an effective resource for our community. So I thank you for this opportunity to share with them, Lord, and I ask for your blessing upon all these things. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. God bless
Thank you,
all.
Lieutenant Irvin. We
Judge,
appreciate the update.
Don't leave, sir. Judge, I've got several comments. Number one, I think everybody, this half of the room understands that our county judge, or excuse me, our county attorney, Chris Heron, organizes the bell ringing in the community and adjoining communities every year, and Chris, for that I'm grateful.
I don't really organize it, but Harry Nickens gives me a sheet and says,
That's right. He's
Go-
a powerhouse.
get volunteers.
Well,
So
thank you.
I do get volunteers.
I did not know that, and so thank you. Thank you so much for that.
And I ring with Kiwanis.
Yes, I do know that. Yes.
And secondly, I'm a Gideon of the past 12 or 15 years. We have a kindred spirit,
Yes.
including the Methodist roots and the fundraising that we do, giving out Bibles. So I wanted to make that. And the reason I bring that up is we are, as you, extraordinarily fiscally conservative. I keep on this phone, and I use it probably a dozen times a year because there are like organizations, and that's as far as I will go. But if anybody wants to see what I have on my phone about like organizations, I'll share it with you. But Salvation Army delivers 96 cents back to the community in need using an administrative fee of only 4%, which in everything out there, you're stalwarts for the mission that you're on, and for that I congratulate you.
I would like, thank you so much. It is a little more than 4%, but it is the administrative fee. Everything stays in this community for at least 88 cents on the dollar.
Wonderful.
2 cents on the dollar goes to the state of Kentucky for disaster response and different works.
Good.
And then 10% of it goes to our headquarters in Louisville, but it doesn't, most of my full-time staff make more than my wife and I. The Salvation Army is able to pay us very little and move us around. One, it's our mission, we believe in what we do. Second of all, there's different resources in place, so I don't have to worry about a car. My car is financed by the Salvation Army, and it stays here. It's bought by this community, it stays here. Same thing for our quarters. We live in a parsonage, and so the Salvation Army is able to do that because they've made wise investments in the community. But the 10% that we send to Louisville, Kentucky is not, it doesn't go to my boss. My wife and I make more than him because we have 2 children. Even though he's been an officer for almost 30 years, that's how the Salvation Army salaries work. And so actually that 10% goes towards the secretary that was in the development office that helped set up this meeting today. And so it goes, we try to be very faithful to what we do. There's no, I digress, so thank you. We try our best, and we feel a very deep sense and calling to be responsible to our donors in everything. Whether yesterday I was cleaning purses so that I could hang them and organize them in our family store. And today I'll be with children driving a large vehicle that was given because of generous donations. We try to be very responsible in all that we do because of God's blessing and because of God's generosity through us.
Well, we thank you for the work and the mission of the Salvation Army in our community, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to stay, or if you need to go, that's understandable.
My wife is ill, so I'm
Okay.
going to go.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Danville-Boyle County Parks and Rec Supervisor Amber Shartzer. And guests.
And friends.
And friends.
Her backup.
And friends. Yeah. We have the library, we have a bookstore, and
We do. This is the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And this, I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to let them talk the majority of it. This is Colleen. She's from the library, and this is Kate Snyder. She does Plaid Elephant downtown, and we are part of a huge thing that's happened in Boyle and Danville with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and we're going to give you all kinds of information about it and let you know of all the good books that are going to all the children in our community. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. We're going to just take different aspects of it, and my job is to let you know how Dolly Parton Imagination Library is organized around the state. As you may be familiar, every county has its own organization, and each county's organization is responsible for making sure that we can continue to have the funds to operate. The state now pays for half of the, Kate's going to talk about that part, but anyway, our group started in 2022, and it's a community-led chapter, so it is all the things that Amber said, Heart of Kentucky Kids, which is the early childhood group in the county, the library, Parks and Rec, the Heart of Kentucky United Way, and Plaid Elephant, and other various volunteers from Center and other places. And the job of the committee is to support early literacy in a very particular way, which is to keep the Dolly Parton books flowing to the families that enroll. It's for kids who are from birth up till 5 years old. And at 5 years old, they graduate out of the program. And the one thing I want to say as a librarian is that the Dolly Parton library is very carefully curated books are sent. So it's by age, not only their year, but their month. So if they're 4 years old in 1 month, they get a certain book. In 2 months, they get a certain book. So it's very, very carefully curated. So we can support it very easily.
And it's 1 book a month, is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, they get 1 book. The parents sign up. It's free to the families, and the kids receive 1 book a month for those 4 years or 4.5, however long they're involved in it, to their home. So they build a home library, and every kid in the family can participate. So it's not just one. So if you have 3 children under 5, bless you, and you can all they can all enroll.
Awesome. Thank you, Colleen.
And right now, I have 3 children of my own, and they range from 10 to 4 years old. So I've been receiving a Dolly Parton book for my kids for 10 years now. And my youngest is going to be 5 in November, so once she turns 5, we'll age out of it. We won't get any more Dolly Parton books. Mm-hmm. But they look forward to it every month. When they come in the mail, it's got their name on it, and it's their special mail. And they love it, and my girls really look forward to reading those books. Right now, I want to tell you all, we have 962 active kids in our community that are receiving a book. And we have graduated, since we started this, 432 kids, or 430 kids. That's a total of 1,392 children we've served in Boyle County. And like Colleen said, it starts at birth, and they receive it until they're 5 years old. Their last book that they receive when they're 5 is a book about going to kindergarten and how to be ready for kindergarten and what to expect and how it's going to be a fun day and a fun experience. They get it once a month, and this is a committee that's come together and wanted to bring literacy to our community for our kids, especially for kids that don't get books or don't receive books. But it's for everybody in our community, birth to 5 years old. So.
Is somebody going to tell how to sign up for it?
That's
Kate's job.
I mean, the Imagination Library has been around for years, but it's new to Boyle County just in the last couple of years. And really, it's almost new to Kentucky, despite being right next to Tennessee. But 2 years ago, they did a big push to get it into Kentucky and up and running. And it's a lot of work because every single county has to organize its own volunteer-run chapter in order to administer the program. And the way that it works is families can sign up either in person. We've got little forms you can fill out that the Parks and Rec department has. I have them at the store. Library has them. Or there's a really easy website. If you just Google Imagination Library, wind up on that website, it will funnel you to put in your zip code, and you just sign up. And that's all the family has to do. Then we pick it up. We get that data that comes back into the computer system. Amber sort of vets it to make sure that they actually do live within our county and pushes it over to the Dollywood Foundation, who then queues up and starts sending the books out. Now, you may be wondering, who pays for these hundreds of books that are flowing out into our community? This is one of the big reasons we came to talk to you, because there is a common perception that the Dollywood Foundation pays for the entire program. After all, it is Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. That is not actually true. They pay the bulk of the costs, but our local chapter here is responsible for $2.12 per kid per month. We round that up to $25 a year per kid. It's kind of an easy number to keep your head around, and that is our local commitment. I am not a math major, but 960 kids times $25 a month is actually a fairly substantial local fundraising commitment that we have to keep up with, or the books stop flowing. So that has been something that, one of the reasons that we have a local committee is to make sure that we're able to get fundraising in place to support the program. And one thing that we'll brag on Boyle County is the Imagination Library, when you form a chapter, tells you how many eligible kids there are in the county. There's about 1,500 by their metrics, 1,500 eligible kids in Boyle County. And then they give your chapter targets for how many kids they hope that you'll enroll in the first year, in the second year, in the third year, so that you can, understanding that you'll phase it up. Boyle County, within the first 6 months of operations, had hit our 3-year goal for how many kids we would have enrolled and receiving free books, which is outstanding. It also means we hit our 3rd-year fundraise, like our 3rd-year cost numbers within 6 months as well. So we've had to work to keep up on that fundraising. Right now, half of our costs are being paid by the state of Kentucky. The Governor's Office on Early Childhood Education is paying half of every chapter in the state of Kentucky's fundraising requirement, which has been wonderful, and it's the reason we've been able to scale up as fast as we have. For our purposes, we recognize that that funding is at the whims of the legislature, and I'm going to always think in my mind $25 a year, because that could disappear anytime. So we're looking at other fundraising in the community. We've been supported by some local businesses have done sponsorships, local foundations like the Wilderness Trace Community Foundation has supported, the banks have supported, the Kiwanis have supported, and the Heart of Kentucky Kids, our early regional childhood collaborative, is done the majority of the fundraising and the support so far. It's time to expand that bucket and start finding funding from other sources in order to keep this sustainable going forward. Right now, we're doing and launching a community fundraiser that I will pass around. Take one down and pass it around. We are launching the Readathon for Dolly in March, which is, we're going to back you do that, I'll keep talking. It's a calendar fundraiser kind of mixed with a reading log. Folks can sign up and commit to reading every day and to raising funds to support the Imagination Library. So basically, you ask your friends and family to support a day on your calendar. Your goal is to fill up your calendar. So you say, Aunt Janice, I am reading every day in the month of March. Will you support a day on my calendar? And she says, yes, my birthday's the 23rd. I'll support the 23rd. And she gives you $23 that you then turn in. That's the kind of the way the calendar fundraiser works. So we've got that out in the community. It's launching for the month of March. We've got a bunch of folks in the community that already have agreed to do calendar fundraisers, either themselves or with their families. Kids can do this, grown-ups can do this. I know a bunch of folks in book clubs are doing it together as a reading challenge. So we're excited about that. And we're interested in chatting with you about the process of whether the fiscal court would consider an annual allocation to support the Imagination Library. This is a program that has the potential to benefit every single child in the county between the ages of 0 and 5.
Is the library board able to support this with any funding?
So the way that the right now the way that the library is supporting it is with their people are helping to manage it, and I don't know if you want to speak further to that.
Yeah, I don't think it would be, we have not asked, but I think it's not a way that we can use our funding because we're allocated to run the library with our funding. We can't really donate it to another nonprofit, so I'm not sure that we could donate money, but we donate a heck of a lot of time. I'm the treasurer for the committee for the county, and we have another staff person who runs the administrative side of it. So.
Right. No, I mean, I think that would be something that would be good to explore, because I think that would make the most sense to me, is that this is such an amazing program, and it's kind of like we're, through this effort, we're taking the library to all these kids in a lot of ways. So I think that would be a good thing to look at.
And we are on the agenda for the city commission as well. We're on there for their next meeting, so we'll be having this conversation with everyone.
Because we do have a process and paperwork that needs to be.
And our appropriations are open right now, so
Okay.
if you'll just contact Julie Wagner.
Yeah.
Julie.Wagner at Boyle County, all spelled out, ky.gov, and she can send you the form and give you the deadline of when it's due back.
You can expect to hear that back from us. Does anybody else have any other questions about how the program works? It's open to all.
I know one of my grandkids has signed up. I'm going to have to find out if the other two are, and if not.
For real, if you know, ask people in your lives. If you know anyone with young children, make sure there is no reason not to sign up for this because it is completely free to the families themselves. And it comes in the mail. I mean, you literally just put your name and your kids' birthdays and your address into an online form and poof, books start appearing. It's about the most magical thing in the world.
It is, and it really is, and I can't say enough about it. I have now 8 grandkids.
Oh,
most of them I think are all involved. Yeah, and of that, bless you, we have one son and daughter-in-law that they have 5 under 7.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they're busy. But it is an amazing program, and I do, think it's something we need to help either personally or
yes, by all
we'll have to
means.
explore the corporately because we're really trying to be conscious of our support we provide in other ways. Speaking as the finance chair.
Understood. Well, we appreciate your time, and if you have ideas for helping us to reach the folks in your districts and making sure that we've really got the word out there about enrollment, because I feel like we've got the low-hanging fruit. The 960 kids we've signed up are the easy ones. The 600 that are left clearly are the ones that there's a challenge for some reason, that they're not seeing the social media, they're not getting the flyers we send home through the schools. Like, something's stopping it. So if you've got ideas, come talk to us.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Appreciate you being here and
thank you.
Getting us informed.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda, Magistrate Ellis is going to introduce our new publisher editor.
Thank you, Judge. It's really a privilege to have these folks here today. Since my earliest corporate days, and I've aged on some of you, I've dealt with media all over the state. And I just want to say how important the media is to our community, to educating people, to informing them, to the tough duties that we face sometimes, to the very amicable things that we have to share with everyone. And that's why I wanted to have both Mr. Jeff Kersey and our new editor, congratulations, Fiona Morgan, here today to speak for a few moments about their vision of the future of the newspaper. Again, it's essential that we have a strong newspaper, radio stations. We coordinate often with, through the judge, with the TV stations in Lexington. And I'll just stop there and say, folks, you choose who goes first.
Thank you. Go ahead. Okay. Great. Well, thank you all for the invitation to come and speak with you today. And I'm extremely happy to be able to introduce Fiona, not as a reporter, but as the new associate editor for Danville and Stanford. To have an editor in the community obviously is very, very important. We do have reporters in all of our communities, but I'm exceptionally happy to have Fiona here in Danville as not just a reporter, but editing the paper. I think that's very important, and it gives us the opportunity to be more involved with events like this today, this morning, and all that happens in the county and in the city of Danville. I've been with the paper for about 1.5 years, was promoted to president publisher about 1 year ago, and my responsibility is 7 publications all throughout the state, 4 in central Kentucky, 3 in eastern Kentucky. What I've found in my first year as a publisher, is that we have a big duty. So, Mr. Ellis, you're exactly right. To be able to communicate with the public and what's going on with the government, to have that kind of transparency is very, very important. And we take our mission seriously in that regard. And so I would say that that will continue, obviously, and hopefully even improve. But I also want to put this invitation out. We need help communicating things that are happening in the community. Fiona works tirelessly. We do have folks that are stringers in the market as well, and another reporter. But we, like many small businesses, and we are a small business, we're resource challenged as well. Media business is very different than it used to be, as you guys know. So we are inviting and asking for your contribution. Write a letter to the editor. You can find a link on the page, on the website under services. Submit photos. If you have a story idea, please submit those. They'll come to Fiona and myself, and someone will contact you. If there's an issue that needs to be discussed in the pages of the newspaper, in addition to a letter to the editor, please bring that to our attention, because we can't be everywhere all the time, and we really do rely on the community and leaders like yourselves to bring those things to the forefront, right, of public discussion. I want to see our opinion page be a robust area for discussion, right? You know, we are holding our own on newspaper distribution. Obviously, the folks that typically take the hard copy newspaper are kind of our age here. For the most part, not Fiona's age, but our age. But the website obviously is where we're going first with most of our publication. We get that up right away when we get those opportunities. And I'm happy to report that the Advocate Messenger reaches 45 to 50,000 unique users every single month. The vast majority of those people are within a 20-mile radius of where we stand today, and the vast majority are in Boyle County. Those are folks that want, you know, local information. Some folks who have moved away will access that. But we look at the total reach that we provide, and it's substantial, right? And so rest assured that anything you would contribute will be used. It will be read, and it will impact the community. So I think I've done enough talking. Let me hand it over to you.
Yeah, I think I've either talked or met all of you in this room, but for those who don't know, I'm Fiona. I started as a reporter with the Advocate Messenger a little over 2 years ago, and I've been covering, you know, as much as I can ever since. As Jeff said, I mean, we do have a limited staff, and we can't get to everything that we used to, but we're definitely looking for more people to contribute, more people to let us know about what is going on. We have a new community calendar that is published in our Tuesday editions and is also online. And that's a great place for anyone to submit events and meetings. It's not just for events, it can be for government meetings, board meetings, things like that. So you can go on there, go on our website and submit an event for free, and it'll be published in the paper automatically, and then it'll be shown online. As Jeff said, we're also looking for anyone to write letters to the editor. We'd love to have more people be involved in the paper in that way. And yeah, we're just looking to become more involved and for the community to become more involved in the paper.
We obviously no space limitations for the website, but no space limitations for the size of the newspaper either. So we're more than happy to publish as many letters as are contributed and to get those out there. So please keep the flow of information coming.
Steve, this morning I was very pleased at 6 o'clock to open up my e-edition and find out that House Bill 5, the homeless, very difficult debate, is a featured letter to the editor this morning. Magistrate Cullen, I know you'll be surprised to hear this.
He's not on there.
Oh, he's gone. Well, it'll be documented so he can see it and laugh. Jeff and I met a couple of weeks ago, and I only spoke for about an hour and 45 minutes of the 2 hours and 15 minutes that we were together.
Shocked.
But it's my enthusiasm for any level of debate that we get into, anything that needs to be out there in the community eye. We have to have a strong newspaper, strong radio stations, and for that we're grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both for being here, and excellent choice on Fiona's position. So we love Fiona.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, I want to echo Magistrate Ellis's points, because it is so important that we have a strong and viable newspaper and media presence in the community. And if you'll oblige me for just a short, quick story, and some of these have heard this. When I first came into office as a city commissioner, in my very first meeting, Coach Tom Bryant, who was also he was a longtime center basketball coach. We came into office together, and Annabelle Gerard, who was the government reporter at that time, and or Coach Bryant in the very first meeting, he said, Annabelle, write this down. And you could hear the pen hit the table, and she said, I don't tell you what to say, you don't tell me what to write. And so that was a very quick media reporter lesson for me that has obviously stuck with me from that point on. So Annabelle made sure we were all made very clear how the process worked.
She set the precedent.
Well, I know it can be antagonistic at times, right? And I think it's set up to be that way. And we're just focused on making sure that we publish the truth, right, and get the information out there to the public and have that dialogue going. So we'll look forward to working with you on that.
Well, thank you
and
very
you're
much.
going to be in the community?
Yeah, so like I said, I have responsibility for quite a few markets. I office here. This is my home office, luckily. I do spend at least one night a week here, most of the time, a couple nights a week. My childhood priest is Father Dick Sullivan, who was born and raised in Danville, and he lets me use his cabin out on Corks Run Road to be in the market, so that's wonderful. I have 3 kids that live in Lexington, so I'm in Lexington a lot, and Winchester, so I'm in the area quite a bit, and you'll see me out and about. From an editorial standpoint, this is your person, though.
Yeah.
There will be a few letters from the publisher now and then from me, but I'm a business side person at my heart, not on the editorial side. So I'll do my contribution there, but Fiona is your person.
All right. Well, thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much.
Appreciate you both
Thank
being
you
here
all very
today.
much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And Fiona, if we can help you in any way, you just let us know.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, next, I don't know if Mikaela is.
She's here.
Is she here? Okay, Mikaela.
There's
There's Mikaela.
Mikaela.
Come on in.
You just want me to start?
You just go right ahead. Tell us what you're here for.
I'm here because the Planning Commission met in regular session on January 24, 2024 to amend Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Joint Zoning Ordinance. Basically, the point of this was to bring the Danville Architectural Heritage Board, that's the Historic Preservation Board that is under the City of Danville. They're doing some reorganization over there. They want to put them under Planning Commission rather than being under Code Enforcement, which is what they're currently under. With this change, we basically brought what's currently in the city codes into the zoning ordinance, so we're not trying to change how the board functions at all. We're going to be doing a separate budget from what we typically receive from Planning Commission, so it won't be any county funds that are used towards this initiative, because obviously it's just applicable to Danville right now, so it's really just a reorganization.
Would it be fair then to characterize the function of that board as predominantly within the city limits?
It is completely within the city limits.
See, I'm hoping that there's a greater breadth to it because of all the significant places that we have in this county that are outside that purview now. So I hope you're supportive of that, because I certainly will be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think bringing it under Planning Commission allows for that growth to happen if there's interest from the other jurisdictions to...
Do we need to take action on that?
Yeah, it would be separate action. Essentially the way it works for us is we have a historic overlay district, so it's technically a zoning district, so it would take a zone change to apply this historic district, to apply the historic overlay district to another property. So if the county wanted to go through that process of identifying properties that they think are appropriate, and then we could bring that in, and then maybe we could relook at the budget, things like that. It wouldn't happen with this change currently. So right now this is just basically reorganizing it. Right now it's only applicable to Danville, but if that's a endeavor that we want to take on in the future, I know Joni House is the staff person that works for the DHB, and she certainly has interest in seeing that take place in the county and Pairville.
Counselor, would that be simply replicating the document for the breadth of the county that the city currently has?
I don't think it would take, I don't want to answer for you, but I don't think it would take a change in the ordinance. I think it would just take a change in a zoning map amendment.
Sooner the better.
Yeah, my office building, which is located next to the old fire station, when I bought it, it wasn't part of the Architectural Review Board district. Then it became part of the Architectural Review Board district. I personally didn't like it becoming part of the.
Yeah, I was going to say there's pros and cons.
I wouldn't speak for
I've been there
everybody.
many times.
So I necessarily wouldn't speak for everybody because not everybody wants to be in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like I can take care of my building without having people tell me how to take care of my building. So it's just.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and it has to go through the whole hearing process, I think.
So essentially, if you're in it, any exterior changes you make, you apply for a certificate of appropriateness. If it's not a clear-cut application, then it goes through the board. But if it's something that clearly meets the design guidelines, then Joni can do it administratively. There's no fee for the COA, but it certainly is a process to go through and it's going to be held to different standards than what you would typically see for that zoning district.
So the action you need today is for the court to approve the amendment to the
I'll make that motion.
So this is a text amendment, so you're going
joint
to have
zoning
to do
ordinance.
2 readings of the ordinance. Chris can probably walk you through that.
Right, if they vote on that, then we'll do our first reading here.
Of the ordinance at the next meeting.
Yep, at the next
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah.
So right now, we just need to approve that this is the way it's going to be handled from now
basically
on.
just move forward with it so we can make those changes. But yeah, if there's any.
Yeah, I'll make the motion. And
I'll second it.
Based on the, unanimous vote as well from the Planning and Zoning Board.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Gay, a second by Magistrate Ellis. Any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Magistrate Bodner, did you vote?
Yes. I
Okay.
said aye.
All right. I think you're stuck on our screen, so.
All right, thank you.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Mikaela. All right, next we have EMS Director Mike Rogers to finish out his portion of the agenda. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Part 2.
Welcome back, Cotter. I know, that's what I say. I probably, nobody in here knows that except this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I could sing the song, no?
After, I'll dance to it. All right.
Wait a minute or go ahead?
No, you go right ahead.
All right, first on the agenda, we have an agreement to consider with Danville Counseling Center. And I have Jessica Leighann with me today from Danville Counseling Center. The easiest way to explain what we're doing is if you think about how Dr. Grant oversees all the EMS operations with EMS providers, Jessica will oversee and monitor all the patient contacts and policies and procedures for our mental health providers. So,
And this is part of the CCCR grant?
This is part of the
Okay.
CCCR grant.
And that amount will come out of the grant for her
Funded
services?
from the grant,
Okay. Anything else you want to say about it? You want to tell the amount or
yeah, it's so
the length of the contract?
Yeah, we thought we would do just 1 year. We may need to revisit it in between just because there's so many unknowns when it comes to what we're trying to do. So we'll probably do it for a year, and then the agreed upon fees is $120 per billable hour, and with payment within 30 days of invoice to Danville Counseling. Other than that, it's pretty standard contract. Is there anything else, any questions you'd have about it?
Okay. So this is the same, like Mike said, as what we have with Dr. Grant. Kind of same position, but on a different level. Is there a motion to approve the agreement as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Magistrate Sleeper, second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion on the agreement? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Aye.
Thank you, Magistrate Bodner. Motion carries. If you will go see Elena, she'll need a W-9.
I sent it
Rita's
already.
worked it.
Already done that? Okay, all right,
Rita's worked on that.
good deal.
Send
Okay?
it.
The next item on the agenda for consideration is to renew our A and B contract. A and B has been our billing team since 2019. We work closely with A and B. I always brag. Our client rep is Lacey. She's on maternity leave right now, but she's a champion. She always goes above and beyond for us, and it does. She's very timely. We are their only client, her only client that still has a weekly billing call. So every week, when she's not on maternity leave, we have a call and we review things like items that are in the bucket, that runs that need to be fixed. New. It's all over the place. But we learn a lot each week from just talking about and thinking about some of the billing practices that we're doing. So I have. I said you have the contract in your packet.
There's two.
There's two.
Yeah.
The first one was for a 1.5% increase. I've worked with Phil Sanderson from A and B. If you want to stand up with me, this is Heather. She's on the coding team at A and B. I worked with Phil to get it down to a 0.5% increase, and so that's what we're considering today. Anything you want to say, Phil? Go ahead.
No, we really appreciate working with your county and your citizens, and certainly it's a partnership for us. It's the way we look at these things is we are hand in hand with the EMS service. We're not just some company that exists somewhere else, and we are Kentucky based, if you're not aware. But we like, I'm sure everybody have experiences, the increases in inflation. So we just are trying to just adjust the rates just slightly, and for you guys, I think it's 0.5%, just slightly to cover additional costs and and continue this partnership. And our agreement, as you may see there, is for a 3-year period, and it has an auto renewal. And we don't we've never come back in the middle of it and say, hey, we got to change things. So this is kind of a locked in thing for how long the contract is listed for.
Okay. So we're going from a 4% to a 4.5%.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve the agreement with A&B Service?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Magistrate Ellis, a second by Magistrate Gay. Is there any discussion?
I reviewed the contract. And I
Okay.
compared it to the one we did back in 2019. And I mean, the one thing is, it's going from 4 to 4.5. The software, in 2019 we had to spend $14,600 for software. I think the ESO solutions was $12,100, and then the training was $2,500. In this particular contract, software is $12,890. I don't know as far as training, is training included in that?
But we don't have that, do we?
ESO software. We have the software. That's our electronic health records that we use every day on runs.
Okay.
Yeah. The training aspect of though, we haven't had. We don't use the training. Is that an option to take out, or?
I mean, you guys have the MCS training, so I didn't put that in there.
Oh, I see.
But I will say, I mean, we would not deny, if his team needed training just because it's not in the contract. We would certainly, work with.
Because I had made a note that we don't have this, so I wasn't sure what part that meant that we don't have.
There's one part of the hardware. We don't use their hardware.
Gotcha.
That's what you're talking about.
Okay.
We have Bill, our IT guy. He takes care of all our IT needs as far as hardware goes. So I think that's what you're thinking too.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
And if you like, in the beginning contract, with ESO, there's also a lot of setup and training costs on their end. It's no longer needed, so that's why it's a little bit less in this round.
And then the only other thing I saw different is paragraph 15. It talks about the governing law and jurisdiction. In our last contract, Boyle County, the Boyle Circuit Court was our exclusive venue and jurisdiction. Now, in this contract, it lists McCracken Circuit Court, which is in Paducah. So
we did change that. I called.
I was gonna say, is that a correction, a typo, or?
Well, when Chris told me to see if we can get that fixed, I talked to Phil yesterday afternoon, and the copy that I have in my hand says Boyle.
Boyle. Okay. All right.
Then I'm good.
I'll let you review it if you want.
I'm good with everything else.
Good deal. All right, thank you.
Judge,
Yes.
I'll be bringing coals to Newcastle to tell you folks this, that for years I was with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and uncompensated care is that hidden tax that is on all contracts. And just encouraging you to do the absolute best you can. Mike and I have talked about this several times over the past 5 years, and I know you're doing well, but push it harder. It's tough to do, especially in these inflationary times, but our fiduciary responsibility is to our constituents countywide. We need you badly. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I think that some of the changes we made this year will help that, but like I said, the ongoing calls every week to try to maximize our billing. There's still a lot of barriers that insurance companies put up that we work through all the time, and so we, like I said, we're their only client that actually still has those meetings every week to just try to maximize that. So
appreciate it.
All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you all being here, and nice doing business with you.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right, next is Shannon Green. Is Shannon, oh, she is here. All right, welcome back.
Thank you. I have 2 incentive payments for Magistrate Danny and Magistrate Cullen.
Wow, Magistrate Cullen is checked out, so I don't know if we approve his or not.
Must be present.
I make a motion.
All right, Magistrate Bodner's made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. All those in favor? Or is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, Magistrate Bodner. Thank you, Shannon. All right, appreciate it. Mark Gordon. Tell their seats in here if they all want to come in now.
Judge, do we sing happy birthday to him?
Well, we can.
No, that's okay.
I appreciate it.
Happy birthday yesterday.
Thank you. And good morning to everybody.
Yeah, good morning.
I'm here to ask about our mower for Constitution Square. Our current one is wore out. I've got a state contract bid here from Industrial Parks. It's actually a Skaggs 60-inch cut. It's at 10/2/66.
State contract price.
That's state contract price.
Okay.
Make a motion for approval.
Have a motion by Magistrate Ellis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion on the quote? 10,266.
Is this
It is
in the budget?
in the budget.
It is in the budget.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
was my question.
Yeah, it's in the Constitution Square line item.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Go get us a new mower.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Angie Muncie. Sitting quietly in the back of the room.
Man, like a little mouse.
Appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so what I've got for you today is our my solid waste annual report. That just basically reports everything that's went on the past in 2023. It's on a calendar year, so that's the way the state likes it. Do I have any questions?
Do you need an approval on this?
I do need approval because I need your signature on it.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Magistrate Gaze or a second to approve the solid waste management area annual report. Second by Magistrate Sleeper, I'm sorry. Any
Whatever you
discussion?
said, I'd say.
I was thinking about streetwalkers. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
And by the way, I love your shirt.
Thanks.
I don't need glasses, I love it. All right, the other item I have
I'm just trying to
is-
brighten the room up
I
today,
love
you know.
it. It
You did.
I love it. Is the hazardous household waste grant. Of course, this is always the one that gets finished first because it's my easiest one. So I just basically need approval to send that in.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Magistrate Sleeper, a second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion on the grant application? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Good
See
job.
on them before I leave.
Mark must be in trouble because Elena drug him back in here.
Okay, Miss Leighann, I see that you're back in the room.
Sorry, guys. Since we went ahead and approved to buy this mower with it being a $10,000 check, can I go ahead and get approval to cut that check and pay on delivery?
You want to amend the motion to include payment on demand?
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Okay, Magistrate Gay amends the motion. Magistrate Sleeper seconds the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your attentiveness. Okay, now we are going to go into an executive session, ×2. And on the first one, I will ask that the department heads that were present on Monday are the ones that will stay in the executive session. So you know who you are. Some of them are out in the hall. But it's executive session due to KRS 61-810, paragraph 1, paragraph B, deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency, but only when publicity would likely to affect the value of a specific piece of property to be acquired for public use or sold by public agency. We also have an executive session, KRS 61.810, paragraph F, discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee, member, or student without restricting that employee's, members, or student's right to a public hearing if requested. This exception shall not be interpreted to permit discussion of general personnel matters in secret. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
Second. Okay, I have a motion by Magistrate Ellis, a second by Magistrate Gay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? And department heads in the hall, I need you to come in.
Could we take a 5-minute break?
We can.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again. Yeah. Wind advisory for Danville.
Oh, yeah.
1 o'clock.
Okay, we are live, so we need a motion to return to regular session.
So moved without any action taken.
Have a motion by Magistrate Ellis, second by Magistrate Harmon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Thank you. Motion passes. Like Magistrate Ellis said, no action taken. Okay, that brings us up to magistrate reports, and Magistrate Bodner, would you like to go first?
I would. I just want everybody to know I'm talking to several people about the project, and I'm hoping to get some real good news, so I'll kind of leave that teaser there, and maybe in the next couple of meetings I'll have some good news. We're getting, the Alum Springs survey is almost complete, and I think he might have it complete by Wednesday of this week of the land at the Alum Springs Convenience Center. And just one of the things the Junction City Fire Department put on Facebook, it said it used to take 17 minutes to get out of a burning house, and now because of construction materials, you have to use 4 minutes to get out of a burning house to get out alive. So just remember to check your fire alarms, the
Smoke detectors.
Smoke detectors, excuse me, and they put that on there. I thought that was a good thing. 300 still in really bad shape. I'm going to contact the road department again, the state road department, and talk to them about it. It's really looking worse and worse, even though it's not been that long since it was, blacktop. I'm really excited about the direction our county's taken, and I believe that we're making some real good changes, and I'm feeling real good about where we're going. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Paula, clarification, as not only for me because I'm a little confused, but for the public that might tune in. I assume that you're talking about Alum Springs for the use of the park, the bicycle park?
Yes.
Okay,
the whole
yeah.
Alum Springs, 82 acres.
Right, yeah. I think the public wouldn't have understood that.
Park.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Magistrate Harmon, that brings us up to you.
It's an interesting subject.
You are an interesting fellow.
Just want to say we've had over a year together, and been kind of off and on for me physically, somewhat mentally, but appreciate your all's patience and understanding, and I'm pretty good shape right now. Patsy's got me up about 80%.
Awesome.
And appreciate your prayers and your understanding.
Well, we're lucky to have you here with us. So we appreciate the work you do in your district. And
good to be here. Appreciate all of you all.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir.
One quick question. I got a written request from one of my constituents wanting to know what that restaurant is going up to Wing.
I think we've all got that question. I've got it several times.
It fell through, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's
They'll know.
There, and they're soliciting, I think now.
Yeah. Build it, they will come. So I think that's the motto they've taken. Is they've got a building and they're hoping that somebody will come.
Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, right.
All right, Magistrate Cullen is no longer with us, so we'll go to Magistrate Gay.
I'm all good.
Okay.
Short and sweet. I'll pass it on.
Okay. Magistrate Sleeper.
I'll yield my time.
Yield your time? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of appointment of Assistant County Attorney Sarah Bryant to our Homelessness Task Force.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Sleeper, a second by Magistrate Gay to appoint Assistant County Attorney Sarah Bryant to the Homelessness Task Force. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to add that, just publicly thank her. We had a homeless individual with a very complicated situation, both from the legal system and other areas, and Sarah was very instrumental in helping us navigate that and providing some counsel to those of us who are trying to help this woman. So I really appreciate it. She has a definite heart and experience and skill set to help us on the task force. So.
Very good, very good. Any other discussion? All right, those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Our homeless task force will meet tonight at 4:30 at the extension office room 104. So next time I'll report on that. On March 8th, I will be participating in a roundtable with that's the Danville-Boyle County Arts Commission is bringing in Michael Cleveland, who is a Grammy Award-winning musician, fiddle player, who is totally blind and 80% deaf. And we will be having a roundtable discussion, which I'll be participating in, on providing arts opportunities for disabled children.
That's awesome.
And so I'm excited about that. That's March 8th at 4 p.m. at the Norton Center. April 11th at the showroom, we'll be having the 2024 Regional Job Fair. So mark your calendars for that and let people know that you know in terms of the job, seeking jobs. EDA met on February 19th, and there's not really a whole lot to report. We're still waiting, I think, for the final on from the railroad, Norfolk Southern, on the property we wish to purchase. And they have met all of our conditions. Some reservations we had in the original agreement, they've met all those. So we are also discussing round 3 of the KPDI funding, which there's really not much to report on that either, but we're discussing it. So.
All right.
Did I leave anything out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I tried to follow along. I think that's what I remember as well. So, all right. Thank you, Magistrate Sleeper. Magistrate Ellis?
Thank you, Judge. I am thrilled to let you know that the granddaughter of one of my constituents, the constituent being Jim Jacobus, has won the state middle school, and she's only in the 8th grade, bowling tournament last Saturday morning. And Judge and I were on the phone with the superintendent, and in our next meeting, beyond the bowling team, we are also going to invite the academic team, which I believe their win was the region, the quick recall team, and it's just an extraordinary pleasure to know that academics are mixed with athletics in our community. And the judge has also mentioned a young lady from Danville that we're researching that also has some accolades.
Mr. Gase taking care of that.
So, yeah, that's right. So I'm just thrilled that the two are coming together, and that the superintendent is certainly enthusiastic about having a few from each of those two teams with us when we meet in 2 weeks. I think everybody is aware, but we've had 2 separate reviews by structural engineers to get a second opinion. We felt that it was really important in checking out the bell tower, and each of these 2 engineers went from the cellar and basement, which we have both, all the way up to the rooftops. And the only imminent need, re-emphasized by the engineers, is we need to quickly contract with a certified structural carpenter and staff to get the bell tower shaped up. The rest of it is not urgent at all, but we'll be looking at everything else that the final report, which will come in written form here in the next couple of weeks. But that was a great relief after the storm of March 3rd, when damage was taken. And Elena has been in contact with KECO. It's an insurance claim that we'll be filing for it. So in great hope it will not impact on our taxpayers when we have that repaired. Legislation, I'll be again Friday in an update meeting with KMCA Committee on Legislation. Annexation has moved to the point where there is an endorsement of an annexation piece of legislation by KECO, KMCA, and the Judges Association. nothing is that simple in Frankfurt, and the very day that that bill came out, we understand that there was an executive session of the League of Cities. So obviously, nothing ever will go totally smoothly, but it would give us some of the same controls that we had, for example, when Perryville came in and we had to have documentation and everything, if in fact they had proceeded. The most important point for the public to know is any outlying area of our county with this legislation that would be passing hopefully and enacted by July would give the public at large the opportunity to participate. And I know in that one small overture that we saw from Perryville, there were something like 183 or 186 signatures opposing that. And in Junction City, for example, and your outlying area, Paula, I think the people have to have a voice if, in fact, they're going to be annexed in. And I think that would be true for any of us who have anything out in the county area before annexation would take place. In addition, just 2 days ago, after our KMCA group, well, both KCO and KMCA were in for the legislative day, something new dropped in a very positive way for jail reimbursement. The last report that I'd had from J.C. Young was that at that point, what would come for jail reform legislation would not include the medical bills. I haven't seen it yet, but it was reported to me and through Brian that indeed a draft is coming or has been dropped in that will include the medical bills that are so prohibitively costly for our taxpayers. So stay tuned on that, and I'm very positive about the help on that. The energy bill that would include the solar, we haven't seen anything yet. Counselor, I hope we're coming soon with our next revision of our own ordinance here.
Mikaela had sent me a sample proposed ordinance regarding solar, so.
Okay, yeah, you need to get that to Jason and me because we agreed that we'd be a committee. This unusual, at very best, very, very concerning animal control legislation that would require, without funding from the state, a mandate to our taxpayers that our animal control officers going into a home after training, which I am highly suspect of being adequate, and I've talked to several healthcare professionals about it in the mental health area. After training, mandated but not paid for by the state, they could come into a home and make an assessment that a child was being abused. And I don't think that's their role. I have said in the previous court meeting that that would be very dangerous in terms of litigation against our officer, who would be compelled to make a report under the draft and then ultimately to the court. I've talked to both Jim Henderson about it and with JC about it, and I'm going to talk about it again on Friday.
There's a law that says that everybody in the state must report dependency, abuse, and neglect. It's a misdemeanor crime for not doing that. So,
could you please give me that citation so I'll have it on Friday? Just text it to me.
Yes.
Thank you. And finally, EMS is certainly looking for more and more protections from the statute that was delayed last session, where hospitals are pirating away. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier when Mike was in here. So we're looking at all those pieces of legislation, and then there's another piece that's favorable to EMS that Mike and I have talked about. Last night, I guess yesterday afternoon, the judge and I were made aware of a water line break where a backhoe hit an 8-inch line that would shut things down all the way to our county line with Washington County. It has now been repaired. People on at least a 24-hour boil water advisory, but that's being taken care of. Judge, I still have in my computer that draft to Secretary Gray, and if you would take a look at it, I'm giving him a compelling argument about the economic development in the whole county, but specific to tourism, to the battlefield. When people travel from around the country and around the world, and they're on Perryville Road. But my draft also includes references to 34, 52, and 37, and the dire need that we have. The good news is, when those of us who were in Frankfurt the other day and met with both Representative Elliott and Senator Bledsoe, she was already aware of what we learned, thanks to Roger, what we learned about a degraded form, a less costly on the front end form of asphalt is probably the reason that our roads are deteriorating much more quickly. All you have to do is drive to the Washington County line, and you will see the tremendous difference in the grade of asphalt that's been laid. It's penny wise, pound foolish to have that, and it's an order of the state road department that lesser grade has been used, and that's going to be part of my appeal, Judge, if you'll take a look at that draft.
I'll do it.
And finally, I just want to say one more time. Oh no, I've got two things. Pie Supper's coming up in Forkland on the 9th. Come in at 4:30 and be ready to write a check for a $300 or $400 pie, because that's happened in the past. But it's a wonderful fundraiser. You'll get a spaghetti dinner for a huge price with dessert, with a huge price of $6 a person. So please come out on the 9th. And last, I'd just like to make one more appeal that we work with the media, whether we're at loggerheads with them or favorably. I'm just thrilled that we have both the new editor and the publisher of the newspaper here. Thank you, Judge. I'm done.
Thank you,
I have
Pastor.
one item I forgot on mine. May I present that?
Wow.
You can have Jamie's time.
Just quickly.
You give Jason's time.
I yielded a whole lot of time for that.
Just quickly, the city, as you recall, had a forum on homelessness back in December. They're having a follow-up one on March 6th at 4:30, which most of us will not be available for that because we'll be at the conference.
Right.
Just wanted to make that public.
4:30 on the 6th, follow up on homelessness. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Judge, one more thing, because it developed about an hour ago. The editor of the newsroom in Lexington of Channel 56 is sending Josh Short over here, because I woke up to see this morning that there's a new scam, and the sheriff sent a news release out that was picked up by the news director of Channel 56, and they're very interested in that scam. So they're coming to interview Kyle because Taylor is not available today. But I'm really pleased that they picked up on the sheriff's news release, and they're interested in that. That's the second scam that they've covered for us in the last year and a half. So.
That's good. That's good. All right. Anything else?
I got some.
I'm getting you.
Okay.
I want to make sure they're finished. All right, Attorney Heron, what you got?
Okay. To expand on the scam, I don't know if it's the same one, but Casey McCoy advised me a business had come to him yesterday, and they had received a letter, and it was acting as if there was a tax judgment lien against this company, and basically it's, I'm going to read it. At the top left corner it says Boyle County Public Judgment Record, so it makes like there's been a judgment against this business, and it says tax amount, this particular business, notice of tax lien, $45,176, creditor, federal taxing authorities, but it's under like the Boyle, it's kind of got a scale of justice symbol, but we know we've adopted our own little symbol that we have on those jackets that we received, and it is not that. And basically saying call 855 blah 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 to discuss settlement and so forth. So I don't know if that's the same one or not.
I don't think it is, Judge. Is it?
No, it's two different scams that are going on. This one Casey has put it on his Facebook page.
And I put
so-
it on the Boyle County Attorney's
Okay, so it's been
office
shared,
Facebook
so-
page as well, and asked people to share it. So there's lots of scams, people, so be
Right
watching.
now, yeah.
And
Chris, would you be available when the reporter gets here?
maybe, I mean, I have court at 1, but
We'll be at 12:30.
Yeah.
okay. And-
Individuals are getting this too, and
Yeah, I said businesses and
yeah.
and I put individuals.
Okay.
Last week I got to attend our County Attorneys Association annual winter meeting, and I really enjoy going there because I mean there's a lot of county attorneys that have been around for a while, and like some things I want to throw off on them and ask them questions because they have a lot of knowledge, and I really enjoy that. I throw a lot of stuff at the Casey County Attorney, Tommy Weddle. He's great. I mean, he's just a pot of knowledge. Like he just, and but one interesting thing that I learned while I was there, I had spoken previously to maybe Trilly, or I don't know if I told you all, but I would really like to get our ordinances codified or indexed on the internet. I think there's a company called American Legal Publishing that does that, and that's who City of Danville uses for their ordinances. And so I was just talking to somebody about it. One of the county attorneys, not thinking. I was just telling him about what I wanted to do. He's like, "Well, I just did that," and he said, "There's a grant for that." And I'm like, "What? A grant?" And he's like, "Yeah," and it's anyway, the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives gives a grant because they encourage counties and local governments to codify or display or index their ordinances for everybody. So, and I think when I talked to him, he's like getting like $11,000 grant. So I forwarded that on to Julie. So hopefully
That'd be great.
we can work on that. That's big. That's really big. So I was really glad to hear about that. So, but yeah, my meeting was really good, and if I learned anything from it, that thing was pretty significant. I thought, that wasn't even at the presentation part. It was just them just saying out of the blue. One other thing that was really important at that meeting, I was part of the planning commission or planning planning committee for that meeting, and I had come up with a couple of suggestions for possible topics, and I wanted to have the people that were the county attorneys that were involved, their counties were involved in the tornado and the flooding, to talk to our county attorneys so that they could kind of give us insight into dealing with tragedies and how they had to deal with it with FEMA and everything else when, for example, Graves County, which is I think Mayfield, I mean that courthouse got wiped out, and all the records and all that. And I think Carter County was the other one with the floods, and they did an excellent job. I thought that was the best presentation there at the meeting, and I pray that we never have any devastation or tragedy like that. But if we do, I think just by listening to them, I know what we need to do to get on it and get good with FEMA, and so that was really important. So, but hopefully that we never have that, but you just never know.
Right.
And that's all I have.
Thank you for your report. I just have a couple of things. One point of correction, Magistrate Ellis, the spaghetti dinner starts at 5:30.
Oh, okay. I thought what I saw came through at 4:30.
He wanted to get a good seat.
5:30, and the auction starts at 7. So I had that on my list as well. Okay, on Monday, you all are invited to Constitution Square at 10 a.m. for a COVID tree planting that we're doing in partnership with the city. It will be planted to represent all the lives that were lost in Boyle County. So that's Monday at 10 a.m. at Constitution Square.
We should notify the Garden Club because they're always interested in that sort of thing.
Okay, they've probably already been notified, but we can do that.
Yeah.
Then the only other thing I have is we're scheduled to have strong storms tonight, so everybody just be weather alert. There's a wind advisory out from today until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, so we could see some strong storms passing through overnight. So everybody just stay weather alert. And we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Magistrate Gates, or second?
Second.
Magistrate Sleeper, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Do it.
Who wants to go to Subway?
Thank you.